Well, good afternoon, and thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. I do want to say, if nothing else, I have a tendency to ramble, and therefore I did want to point out this one message to you, oh dear viewer. So the message is slow it down. Okay, that's a powerful little thing right there. Slow it down, because the ultimate thing, of course, is meditating, right? Meditating equals stillness, and it usually more or less does require solitude, right? So the whole thing is this: if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, and as for you, random viewer, you're bored, or just essentially like you're not really at peace or whatnot, although you could be, who knows, right? Because as it were, apparently enlightened people, there's many enlightened people that live amongst us just like normal people, day-to-day people. Like enlightened people, like real spiritual beings, they're not ostentatious and they're not flamboyant. They're like the millionaire next door from a spiritual perspective, right? So enough said. Slow it down. Just slow it down. Take time to come out into nature. And of course, I'm going to do my duty and take you for a little stroll there. I was out on my daily bicycle ride. Now I know it's not much to look at, but it does get me around. You may notice this horrible schlocky paint job, right? I decided I wanted to paint my bike. It's a beat up old supercycle. Don't ask me where or how or wherefore I procured this beautiful feat of mechanical engineering technology. Now the paint job is, the lock is literally more expensive than the bike. Via velo. So now this paint job, I don't know if you can appreciate it. To be honest, first impression of this thing is it's not too bad. It looks like what it is, which is it's getting some work done on it, and therefore it implies that it's something valuable. These kinds of things. Of course, you see how bad it is. I've already spent 3 minutes just talking nonsense, although the slow it down thing is good and meaningful, I hope. This is Bloor Street, and that's Sherborne down there. That's an intersection with a lot of memories, right? As I start out this heartfelt recapitulation, or like my ongoing, let's just put it this way, my ongoing recovery journey, right? So this, I wanted to like just point out very quickly, like on the corner of this intersection. So this is Bloor Street that becomes Danforth Street, and there's a bridge there. And I have a video earlier on this channel where I visit the place I used to sleep, when I was homeless, right? And so I've been coming like after, like, so on Sundays I have a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, right? And today I'm very proud to show you, I've got a just for today key tag. That's for people that are there for the first time, or like literally you just relapsed or something and you're getting back on this into the swing of things. So I was very happy today to receive this little beauty, which is my 30-day key tag. Now, I was in jail for 18 months, and I just got out of jail like a couple of months ago, and then I started attending these meetings as per my, that's NA for Narcotics Anonymous. So, and this of course is just to remind me to get with the topic of recovery and addiction and things like this. So this is 30 days of clean and serene. I didn't realize there was a separate key tag for 30 days and 60 days and 90 days. I've been going to this meeting for 6 weeks, and thankfully I got out of jail mid-July, and through the grace of God I've been abstaining from weed. But this is real stuff. Like, I was in jail for 18 months, and of course I wasn't smoking weed, and I had a personal transformation in jail. I keep mentioning this thing to people, and I don't know if more than one person on Substack actually got the message, I urge you to check out this video a few videos ago called How to Change Your Life in One Instant. It's a beautiful thing, and it was the basis of my personal transformation in jail over those 18 months. A profound personal transformation, this kind of thing. Like, I'm happy. I'm very happy. I'm finally at peace, and I like who I am. Right now, for me, life is beautiful, and I just spend my days more or less in just wonder and gratitude and awe and appreciation of everything, right? For me, it took 18 months in jail and destroying my life, right? My decade-plus careers in software sales or whatever, although I had left the corporate world and basically I have been a digital marketer for the last few years. But what I'm trying to say is I was making six figures, had a nice car, my wife was doing good with her business, she had a nice car, she still has a nice car. I haven't talked to her forever. I'm not allowed to contact her, whatever, as per my probation requirements. Anyway, I'm rambling. I wanted to mention this intersection right on the corner here, this corner over there, there's a Circle K, right? A Circle K convenience store. And I don't know, I just felt like mentioning that one of my charges, like when I was in my depths. So for me, my addiction story is that I'm diagnosed bipolar, but I'm fine. I'm a thoughtful and pensive person, and I do, go through periods of deep, like, solitude or like separation, whatever. Like, I'm a moody perhaps person, or I was in my previous life. But I had no problems in life. I mean, apart from when I smoke weed. After like 30 days, 60 days, I start exhibiting bipolar tendencies. I become manic. I start acting out, stepping in front of traffic, fighting people, breaking stuff. And so one time, like 3 years ago, the year I was arrested, 2023 last, Circle K over here. And I went into the Circle K and I wanted to get an adapter for my phone or some kind of cable or something. And there was a line there, and I don't know, I just asked the guy, like, hey, do you guys have XYZ charger or this adapter or stuff like this? And the guy was, in my manic mind, my weed polluted mind, the guy was dismissive. He's like, blah. And so I was like, you know what, F you. And I went out of there, but I was like, screw you, man. And I pushed the ATM receipt box or whatever on his counter. I pushed it onto the floor, and I walked out of there. And the guy, he's like from India, and he got all fired up, right? There was another guy from India who was in the news. He was working at a convenience store, same thing. He was on the front pages of the Sun newspaper here a couple of years ago, or last year. Somebody tried to break into his store, and he fought the guy off with a broom, and he got charged with assault with a weapon. And in fact, that's the law here in Canada. It's very strict, and you never know what is going to be the outcome of calling the cops, right? So if you're being attacked or you're in danger, things like this or whatever, like, go right ahead. My own experience is it's a 50-50 toss-up. The person that calls the cops could actually end up getting arrested and charged. So this guy, like, comes out of the shop. I push the ATM thing onto the floor, go outside. He comes outside and starts fighting me. And then, whatever, we had a real fucking fisticuff. I'm swearing, sorry for that. I try to keep these kid-friendly. I wanted to take you for a walk down this bridge. This is a relatively new addition, and I like to add these little scenic touches to these videos that nobody watches. So if you're watching, I appreciate that. And in fact, I'm so happy because today I got my first YouTube comment on this channel. It only took about 15 videos, rambling on for half an hour and 45 minutes and whatnot at a time. It's so gorgeous. Like Toronto's tagline is a city within a park or something like this, or that might be Brampton, which is one of the suburbs of Toronto. But it's really beautiful. Like, just this little walk, I mean, it's not much. Now, you can go down into the trails, and that's where I come out from biking on my daily bike ride. I kind of come up through the trails out into here and go on my way. So yeah, like, I wanted to mention as well, at this intersection there's another bridge that I used to sleep under that I that I've been visiting. Like when I was homeless, like I've been coming here every week. I've been having these Narcotics Anonymous meetings. Okay, and I know I haven't said jack about recovery. All I want you to do and understand is that right now I'm just super like happy, right? And this is the thing. The whole thing. The thing as that word is that life is the ultimate high. Life, just having this is what you learn in recovery. This is what you learn in Narcotics Anonymous. You don't need anything. You need to be healthy and you need to have your basic necessities taken care of, right? Apart from that, just being alive, right? So for a guy who spent 18 months in jail, right? Like fantasizing about pizza, fantasizing about Netflix, fantasizing about Tim Hortons coffee and this kind of stuff. Like you learn how to appreciate things, and then you realize that nowadays living here in the West, we live like gods. Like we have it so good. Like the sin of this thing is that nobody appreciates how good they have it, and they can never appreciate how good they have it, right? This is all I want to say to you. Like this whole video about recovery and everything. Listen, no matter how bad it is, or how bad you feel, or how much you've gone through, or how traumatized you are, all these things, as long as you are healthy and you haven't been crippled, or like you haven't lost a lung or an eye, like I don't know what to say. Like basically, if you're healthy and you have your wits about you, this kind of thing, or you're healthy and you have your basic needs taken care of, this is the main thing, right? The rest of it is up to you. Right? It's like my guy, like one of these guys in one of these meetings. They're such amazing people that you meet. And this is what happens. You basically get infected with this thing. And people tell me now, and it's the most beautiful thing. People say that I'm positive and I give off this glow and these kinds of things. And this is an amazing thing. And as a middle-aged person, right, you realize one day that the rest of it is just nonsense. Right? You're chasing after this and that, and you're stressed out about this person and that person. And listen, just relax. Okay, if you're about to get evicted from your house, or you're gonna get fired, or like you've got outstanding charges against you, these kinds of things, this is another thing. So this is a very interesting bridge now that I think about it, because on this side is more or less the ghetto. It's not that bad, but it's like basically upper lower class or lower middle class, like right there. That's what that is. Like these buildings, they're not the projects, but there's a lot of drug and nefarious gangster type activity going on in these buildings, like cops getting, like all this kind of stuff. These are like the people that, you know, society has left you behind, or some nonsense like this. I mean, these buildings right here, more upwardly mobile. But this section right there, just right across the bridge over there. Now, on the other hand, this is Rosedale. Like, this is like one of the most desirable places to live in Torontopia. It's just like West Vancouver, in the city of Vancouver. Talking about Toronto, there goes the city of Toronto truck. Anyway, so now, again, the dream is to have a nice $1 million or $2-3 million house. Like this is one of the, apparently it doesn't look that like impressive, I know, but if you go further up there and things like this, there's nice houses, blah 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 blah. And this is the dream. Like all the people on this side of the bridge, it's like, yo, I'd like to one day retire or live on that side of the bridge, these kinds of things. But what you'll notice is that people on this side of the bridge, they're no more or less happier than like people on this side of the bridge. I mean, it's exactly the same. In fact, what I've observed in my own lifetime, dear viewer, more or less, I could almost guarantee you that there's a statistical corroboration. I know you may not like it, but it is what it is. The more you have, the less happy you are. This is what I've observed. And if you go to poor countries, como mi esposa is colombiana. I like to mention my española y latina, linda y hermosa esposita. And esta películas. I like to mention my beautiful wife in these videos. She's from Bogota, Colombia, right? So now, if you go to Colombia, like many people that go there, right? First of all, there's no drugs or guns or gangsters or like terrorists or any of this nonsense. It's a beautiful place. What happens is oftentimes people that go there, like foreigners, such as myself, frankly, I met a handful of others who had basically decided to live there. It's such a beautiful place, and the people are so beautiful and so happy and so friendly, and you make all these friends, and it's just amazing. It's a different kind of life. It really is a piece of heaven, right? And then you end up wanting to stay there. Like myself, I basically wasn't, like, my Spanish wasn't good enough, and I did not, I looked at a couple of jobs, and I was thinking, shall I be like some kind of waiter in a hotel for tourists or something like this. I looked at different options like this. And so I know I haven't talked about addiction or anything. I'm feeling bad, but this is what happens. Like, the goal is, like I mentioned this on another one of these videos. So the two things I've been talking about in these videos, basically last few videos. So every Sunday I come out of my Narcotics Anonymous meeting, and I want to talk to you about addiction and all these kinds of things, right? And then of course the series of videos about the existence of God and Islam and Christianity and things of this nature. By the way, I appreciate comments and things like this. I'd love to hear your thoughts if anything's of interest. If I say anything and it's unclear, or you're interested in a source, or where did this thing come from, or why did you say that, I'd love to hear from you. It's every so-called YouTubers that makes their day, and it gives you a thrill when people respond to your content, right? So now, the basis of this whole thing is like what I've demonstrated in this video. Like, what thing? Okay, you want to get off of drugs, and therefore the way and the goal is that you should not have the desire to use drugs, right? And the reason that is because you have a life. You're caught up in life. You're doing things. You have friends and goals, and you have a schedule, and you've got the groceries and laundry. And frankly, I would go as far as to say that life, and even the tasks and chores of life, they become a joy. Like, you enjoy life. You enjoy doing things. If you're not happy inside and not centered, and you don't have peace and well-being, then everything becomes a drag. This is the whole thing. But if you're feeling good, then you like doing everything, like laundry and all these things that you have to do. Of course, it's a struggle, and it's day to day, and there's ups and downs and all this nonsense. But life is not a drag anymore, right? You feel happy. So that's the whole thing once again. So now in this video, I wanted to talk about addiction, recovery, these kinds of beautiful things. However, I got caught up in this video, and that's the whole thing right there. It's like, again, a different approach to this. If they say, and you may have heard, if you have to ask, am I happy? Then you're not happy, this kind of thing. And then here's another approach. I mentioned this in one of these earlier videos, how to get off of drugs, and then in brackets, get a life. Life is the ultimate high. So now, if you're plugged into life and enjoying it, this is the way it should be. For most of us, and for me, for most of my life, there's this underlying background noise, this low-level tension, this anxiety, these thoughts, basically, these thoughts, right? These thoughts that ruin everything, quote unquote. Your thoughts, and they generate negative emotions, which generate negative thoughts, in this little cycle, right? And so you have to slow this thing down. And my advice to you is unplug. Take time to take time out, okay? So take time to take time out. Go for walks and get away from people, get away from things, right? Mute your phone. My phone is always mute. I just literally, it's been mute for years. I never, like, I'll just check to see if anyone called after the fact when I feel like talking or whatever. But it's been mute for years, and only recently I started putting it on vibrate. So there's a little tip. So now you get away For me, I go on a daily bike ride. I'm blessed, like my schedule and my phase in life is such that I can pretty much do what I like with my time. Like I'm working with this amazing guy I met who's starting a software company, and he needed a sales guy, and so we have a beautiful office at John and Queen, and I go there and I told him I'd give him 15 hours a week for now, whatever. It's a great learning experience. Like just going there, I buy him coffee sometimes. Like he's the boss and I'm paying him. It's like technically a commission sales position, but then like of course there's shares, and like we're trying to build a company, and if it takes off then I'm going to be some kind of partner and I'm getting a chunk of the revenues, the usual. And for me it's a learning experience. Just like the holy Imam Ali said, peace be upon him. I urge you to Google sayings of Imam Ali and then go to Google images. You'll see all these amazing sayings. So he said to one of his companions, he said, "Oh Kumail, just remember that knowledge is superior to wealth. Knowledge, the more you spend, the greater it becomes, it increases. Wealth, as you spend, it decreases. Knowledge takes care of you, whereas you have to take care of wealth." And then finally, I guess knowledge lasts forever, right? And wealth, of course, is finite. Knowledge actually makes not only last forever. These are my own words at the end of the saying, like knowledge is better than wealth. And the best experience, quote unquote, is one that you learn from. So now, going into work with this guy every day, he's such an amazing genius. He's such an amazing technology and business genius. I gotta say, I've never met anyone like him. He's such a goddamn genius. So it's Sunday today and I'm going in later on, so so going to this NA meeting on Sunday is like my church, 22 minutes, right? So here's the thing again. So now in life, this thing that I'm pointing to, this is a very deep thing. People click on my videos and then they think, oh wow, like look at this ugly guy who's like so self-absorbed and these kinds of things, not to mention like self-important in what might he have to say, and then I start rambling in circles. But think about what I'm saying, like all these things coming together. Like, so the goal again is to be plugged into what you're doing. Like I'm rambling in this video, all my mental talking points, they're lost in the wind. But that's the whole goal. You should be plugged into life, plugged into just experiencing life. And you're not asking anymore, am I happy or not? Because you're just thriving on the experience. It's like Melissa Meyer at Yahoo, ex-Yahoo, ex-Facebook. She used to say, or she does, I'm sure still, she says, well, work does not tire you out. That kind of work, that's not the kind of work that we like. There's the work that grinds you down. That's something you need to address. And you need to find work that fires you up. And you become like an Elon Musk or a Mark Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos or one of these guys. The more you work, the more you want to work, and you're just doing 16, 18-hour days and these kinds of things. My days are almost like that right now. I basically take an hour nap in the afternoon. Otherwise, I'm up at 6. Today I was up at 5:30. And then I sleep at 10. Right? I don't know if that impresses you or not. For me, this is huge. Right? I used to sleep a lot. I used to be moody and sad and depressed and all these kinds of things. And right now I'm just plugged into life. I can hardly contain myself. I can hardly believe it. I'm so happy nowadays that I'm ashamed to talk about it sometimes. This kind of thing. And it's beautiful, and that's the way it should be. And this is what I'm trying to say to you. So now, you want to, as a so-called addict, not have the desire to use. If you are thinking, should I smoke weed in my case or should I not? Should I drink or should I not? Should I use drugs or should... Once you're having this internal discussion, you're lost already, right? Like, once you're having these thoughts, and once you're reduced to the level of will, where you're battling out with this compulsion and these urges, if you're at the level where you have to battle these urges and use willpower, then you've lost. The whole conception and the point and what I'm trying to convey here is that you should have no desire to use. You should have no doubts or questions about am I happy or not, or these kinds of things. Am I doing the right thing or not? I mean, of course, life goals and purpose and greater purpose and societal purpose. I still grapple with these things. I'm having a great time, but I would like to make a dent in the universe. Rest in peace, Steve Jobs. Now, this thing gets really deep, this thing I'm talking about. And if you're watching this and you've watched this far, I appreciate it. I just wanted to come down to this bridge, take a walk in memory lane. I used to go for a walk here with my wife. Further on down there is Jamestown. And my wife used to live in that neighborhood, and we used to walk all around this whole place. And sometimes we'd come through here prior to when they had this beautiful new addition. This was a stinky old little, almost like a medieval footbridge. So guys, not having the desire to use. This is the goal. Not having any doubts about whether you're happy or not, this kind of thing. Not having any background negative thoughts or chatter or some low-level tension. This is the goal. And ultimately, not having a self. Like this whole thing, like I want to break enlightenment down for you. Not that I am anything like close to this, but it's a theoretical approach, and it's something that you can experience in day-to-day life, which is this whole concept of no self, having no self. The thing that is suffering is this thing called self, and this thing self-perpetuates itself with self-talk, right? Ego-based talk, and most of it is negative or whatever, and it generally or eventually grinds you down. However, when there's no self, then you feel happy and bliss, or what actually is happening is you're plugged into experience, right? And then when you become aware of this whole thing, then you feel bliss and gratitude. Now, here's a simple thing to think about. This whole concept of no self, it sounds very mystical and far-fetched and woohoo and these kinds of things. How about when you're reading a book or watching a movie or flying a kite, or you're engrossed in your work, something you're passionate about, or your hobby, or you're going for a walk with your wife, or for me it's like nowadays biking. When I'm out biking, listening to audiobooks or some of my favorite music. And by the way, I urge you to get YouTube music, and just keep in mind that when you're watching music on YouTube, when you're watching music on YouTube for free, you're basically ripping off your goddamn favorite artists, right? This is the thing. This is what I realized. But for $10 a month, you can get all the music you like and download it on your phone, and you can get, like, for me, it's like obscure Napalm Death B-sides and things like this, right? YouTube music. I really encourage you to think about this thing, because it's like $10 a month. This is like nonsense. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's like a couple of coffees or whatever. So then, again, you're reading a book, you're watching a movie, you're flying a kite, you're walking down the beach with your loved one, you're engrossed in some hobby or work. There's no concept of me. There's no concept of I. This is the goal. This is the whole thing. The ultimate thing is that the more you're obsessing about this thing called self, as bizarre as it sounds, and I still grapple with this after many years, if not decades, right? I was told this, or I read this about 10 years ago, and I don't really think about it much. I just kind of like theorize, and like I'm expounding on some of these things right now. But the Buddha himself, Siddhartha Gautama Buddha, his whole thing was there is no I. There's no such thing. This thing called I or me, it doesn't exist. That was his whole thing. Not only this, he had like 7 cogent and irrefutable arguments. And the way he became famous is, frankly, he walked around India, the whole of India and Nepal, explaining to people why there's no such thing as I or me. This thing is, of course, beyond the canon appreciation and conception of like the average person, certainly myself. But I do again want to just hint at this thing. You're absorbed in some work, you're watching a movie, you're flying a kite, you're reading a book, these kinds of things. There's no me or I. There's just what you're experiencing. There's no conception of I. And where there is a conception of me or I, that is when the suffering begins. There's nothing good that comes out of it, frankly. I'll tell you this. If you're obsessing over something, this thing called I/me, this thing is a losing battle. So I know I wanted to talk about recovery and all these things. I want to say have faith and keep at it and start attending our NA meetings. They're really awesome. So take care, leave me a comment, get out and about, like enjoy life and have fun, all right?